Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Sales Copywriting and Content Marketing Hacks podcast. I'm your host, Jim Edwards, along with my special guest host, or not guest, with my special, you're my special buddy, Mr. Smith.
I am.
And we're here with episode number 129. And we're going to be talking about how all the stuff that I teach relates to Airbnb, Uber, UberEats, Grubhub. And I'm just as excited to see what my answer is to that as everyone else is, Stu, because you made this up.
Well, I didn't make it up. Steven asked a question on the Facebook group, Sales Copywriting Content Marketing Hacks with Jim Edwards Facebook group, which, by the way, if you're not a member, you should be, because over 20,000 like-minded business owners are. And they're very helpful people. So,
damn, that was good, Stu. That was good. Good job, buddy.
That?
Yeah, that was really good. I liked it.
I like the Facebook group. I get a lot of ideas for the podcast from people asking questions in the Facebook group. And then there are people helping. So Steven manages an Airbnb listing, right, as a host. And his question is, I want to know how I could transfer Jim's knowledge to writing sales copy for an Airbnb listing. You know, do all the principles still apply, and how might you go about it? You know, what about others in the hospitality sector? Any wizards for this? That's my question. So I said, you know, how do Jim's teaching relate to Airbnb, Uber drivers, Uber Eats, Grubhub, you know, those type of things that are easily found with your phone, but also, depending on where you are, a post or a something that can trigger, in social media that can trigger local people to picking you over other people, is not that difficult. And Jim's teachings absolutely help you. And what are the three things you have to do, Jim, to make an ad? What do they have to be? They have to be hook,
story, offer.
There you go.
Right. So
let's talk about it.
It's interesting. No matter what you're doing, you got to have a hook. So if we're talking about Airbnb, what's the hook for why somebody would want to stay where you are? What would hook the type of person that was interested? If it's in the mountains, you want to have a hook about quiet, nature, vistas, mists on the mountain. Picture yourself peering through the mist in the morning. Picture yourself drinking coffee, peering out over, or looking out over the mountain vistas, on the beach, tropical sunsets, sun-drenched beaches and tropical sunsets. Some sort of, hook for where it is. And what the payoff is, what's the hook? What does someone want? Do they want peace and quiet? Do they want to be close to the action? Again, you talk about an Airbnb. You ever been to Key West? I know you've been to Key West. You were in the Navy. You've been to Key West, haven't you? Okay.
Several times.
Key West has several very distinct regions to it. You got Duval Street, where everybody's just drunk out of their mind. And then you've got the beaches, which have their own characteristics. You got the old villagey type place that's nice and quiet. So again, you need to think about what is the characteristic of that Airbnb that's going to appeal to your ideal customer, the one that's going to want to stay there. Somebody that wants to hang out at the bars isn't going to want to stay on a deserted beach. Whereas someone who wants peace, quiet, and tranquility is not going to want to hang out in an apartment overlooking a bunch of bars. So that would be the first thing. The second thing is, what is the story that you could tell about that Airbnb unit? If I were, which I never would, but if you think about where I am right now, I can literally look out my window and see where the final battle of the American Revolution took place. I can see Yorktown. I can see the water where the French Navy blockaded the English Navy. They knew it was over, and so the English all scuttled their ships right there in Yorktown so that the Americans couldn't easily come across the York River to attack them while they beat their retreat. I can, talk about the history of the Mob Jack Bay. I can talk about the dolphins that you can see. I mean, I can see dolphins sometimes from my window right here. The dolphins doing their thing. They're actually out there mating. I would say they're playing. Watch the dolphins frolic. And so the story, you can tell a story about the house or the unit. You could tell a story about the area. This is a historic when, just the history or the shopping or the characteristics of the place. You could tell a little story about, imagine yourself doing this. Imagine waking up, hearing the sound of the surf breaking on the beach. Smell the aroma of the coffee, of your fresh coffee as you breathe in the clean sea air, and seeing the whole day laid out in front of you, doing whatever you want, playing on the beach, fishing from the dock, taking out the kayaks or the paddle boards, or perhaps taking a stroll in the quaint village of Matthews as you investigate shops and antique stores, and then have a wonderful lunch at one of the locally owned restaurants. Then, I mean, just, dude, that makes me want to stay here. Hell, that's why I live here. So telling the story of the area, the house, or the experience that you're going to have, or a combination of one or more of all of those. And then the offer is you can stay here one night or a week and have memories that will last a lifetime. And, book now, because everybody else wants to stay here and you don't want to miss out.
Yeah, I saw a really similar type of business ad, and it was, you rent a home for a week, type of business, and you're on vacation. And it starts off with, there's that smile that I haven't seen, not peering at a phone all day. And it's his daughter, and they're sitting on a dock somewhere and just kind of hanging out, enjoying nature. And it's a really touching thing. So it kind of hooks you. It's a nice little story. It hits an emotion of like, man, that's where I want to be on vacation. Yeah. So it's, you gotta hit that little zinger emotion too.
Yeah. And it also depends on your target audience too, because the daughter's sitting there thinking, damn it, there's no internet access. So I got to talk to the old man. Jesus. Let me kiss up to him and see if I can get an increase in my allowance. I love you, Daddy. I mean, it's all about perspective. There's the story. So this is totally unrelated, but it shows the power of story. So there was a lady who had this wildly successful and virally passed around eBay listing that was for some Pokemon cards, when Pokemon cards were a big rage. But she needed to sell these Pokemon cards. I don't know if the story was true or not. I don't care. If I'd have wanted Pokemon cards, I would have bid. She sold these things for just an ungodly multiple of what they were really worth, because she told the story of how her kid, when little kids like 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds, they shoplift. I mean, I never did. But I mean, everybody knows a little kid that just doesn't understand, and they got to learn that lesson. Oh, hey, just because you go in the store, you can't take it. She was telling the story about her 3 or 4-year-old had taken these Pokemon cards, and she didn't know it, had pulled them into the stroller and then had hidden them, and then was, they all loaded up. She was in the car, and she hears this crinkling in the back. She's like, what are you doing? I got the Pokemon cards. And he had opened all the Pokemon cards, had gotten a fistful of them. They weren't cheap. So she went back and she paid for them, and it was a lot of money. It was like $100-something. So then she told the story of how she couldn't let the kid keep them, and she was mad, but she had to sell these to get the money back because she couldn't afford for these. So this is why she was selling them. But the story was really humorous about how she had to go in and explain that her kid was a klepto, and she was totally embarrassed. And
Good
then
story.
she had opened, they were open, so she had to pay for them, and she went through all this thing, and it was a great story. And she sold $100 worth of Pokemon cards for like $300 or $400. And I was thinking to myself, well, I'd take the little bastard back to the store and have him shoplift a whole box, because man, we can make full time on this. But that's not true. And I shouldn't have said that. And he wasn't a little B. He was probably just he needed a spanking. I mean, obviously the kid needed to get swatted. Bring back the belt. So the point is that
Jim Edwards method.
The thing is, I have never spanked a kid. I have never spanked anybody. I mean, I'm a total pushover and a softie. You would think I would be. Oh man, I get steamrolled. I talk tough. So my point is that a great story can sell anything. You just have to find the angle of the story. And the great thing that lady did was she took, and I teach this, with the hero's journey, and I teach the thing to look for is the emotional turning point. And so for her, the thing she built the whole story around was the utter internal just anguish and embarrassment and feeling terrible about the fact that she had to go into the store, admit that her kid had taken these things, and she didn't have the money to pay for them. And that was what the story was really built around. So it was humorous, but it was, man, I know I can see myself there. And so that's the thing. And finding the right story, having that hook, and if you got the right story, the offer's easy.
Sure. And it also gives you an out too for being, a mom who sells Pokemons.
Right.
Why is this mom selling me Pokemons?
Right.
Then you hear the story, you're like, huh, that's pretty funny.
So like if you wanted to sell Beanie Babies now, I mean, the story to tell would be, hey, I thought I was investing in my kids' college education. And so we went ahead, we bought a bunch of these Beanie Babies. I mean, we had the totes full of them. We had the Princess Diana Beanie Baby. We had the this and this baby Beanie Baby, this Beanie Baby. Well, I've been waiting for my investment to pay off, and it doesn't look like it's gonna. So now we got to clear out some room. So Beanie Babies are still cool, and I want to sell these, but I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to sell them for just a fraction of what they, so this one sold for $300. I'm going to let it go for 10. I mean, just telling that story and giving that contrast, I don't know if it would work or not, but I mean, if I needed to unload Beanie Babies, that's how I'd unload Beanie Babies. Yeah. But you gotta have the story, because what the story does is it answers the question, why you, who are you? And then why you, why this, why now? That's the thing that people want to know, because they're naturally mistrustful until they understand the reason why behind something. You could just be some person out there that is just trying to get over on everybody. And maybe you still are, but at least I make myself feel better because I listened to your story, I read your story, and it makes sense to me that this is who I should pay attention to.
Yeah. So off the top of my head, I would probably go with some kind of Facebook video, video walkthrough of your property, explaining some of the features of your property, and throw in that hook story offer. There's a wizard for that. You maybe go with the origin story or, Facebook ad story or Facebook wizard.
Or use the stealth close wizard. By the way,
yep.
That would be the other thing, depending on who you were going after. Let's say that there were groups of people who loved the beach, or they loved a certain area. And so you started posting videos about the area. Hey, if you ever come to Key West, or you ever come to Virginia Beach, or you ever come to Severna Park, Maryland, here's one of the cool things that you can do. Oh, and by the way, if you're looking for a place to stay, I've got an Airbnb that will blow your mind. It's got this, 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 and this. And if you'd like to watch a video tour of where you could stay while you're enjoying these things, click here and check it out.
Absolutely.
So that would be a way you could use the stealth close wizard to be able to do that. And Justin said add a Beanie Baby. Oh, and if you the first 10 people to stay here and get a Beanie Baby, we'll leave the Beanie Baby. You can take the Beanie Baby on the kitchen table with you when you leave as a souvenir. Hey, now that's a way to use dang things.
Yeah.
And that's what funny. We could do, no matter which Beanie Baby it is, it becomes the Jim Edwards unicorn Beanie Baby, because we'll staple a unicorn to its forehead, and whichever one it is, it's a unicorn Beanie Baby now. God, I can finally get rid of those dang things. So
part of your offer stack.
That's there you go. Yeah, that'll be amazing. And then, hey, that's what Carlin could do. Hey, do you hate Beanie Babies as much as we do? Well, when you book a tour through the Grand Canyon, we will stop at the Western Rim so you can heave that little sucker off of it and watch him fall 1,000 feet down into the canyon.
And set it on fire.
And set it on fire. Yeah, for an extra $10, we'll give you a can of lighter fluid, let you light it up, and then heave it over the side of the rim. And depending on time of day, you might be able to whack somebody in the head that's riding a smelly mule down there on the rim and really light up their day. So I like it. I think you see,
humor sells.
You can, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I might end up having to comb garage sales looking for Beanie Babies now when I get rid of all the ones that I've got, and I need them because the offer's so dang successful. What are you going to do? That's kind of like that time when we had scratch and dent sale and sold everything out. So I had to start throwing new product down the stairs so I could keep selling it scratch and dent. I go on eBay all the time and buy stuff. I enjoy it. In fact, I collect Hall of Fame football cards. Really?
So if you made the Hall of Fame, I collect those cards. And what's cool about it is, like, every year there's a new set of Hall of Famers.
Okay.
So I find their football cards, and I just have this big collection of football cards. I don't have all of them, but I probably have like 85% of all Hall of Famers, football cards throughout the years. The oldest one being like 1950.
Wow.
Vintage era.
You got any that are in great shape that are worth a bunch of money?
Some.
That's cool.
Some rookie ones. Those are really big, but.
Did you hear what Tom Brady's rookie card from the Super Bowl, from when they won the Super Bowl?
Oh, you mean this one?
Yeah, well, he's got a signed one. He's got but that signed, there was a signed one that went for like $1 million or something.
Wow.
I mean, it was mint and it was signed and it went for $1 million.
I think this was his 2002 Tom Brady.
Okay. Rookie
year.
That was a crazy game, man. When the St. Louis thought, okay, well, this is going into overtime, and New England said, oh no, we're going to go score. We're going to go win this. We ain't going to overtime. That was crazy, man. Anyway, so I would say, just to answer Steven's question as far as which wizards you should, what's up, Gordon? You should look at the headline scripts. You should look at the stealth close wizard scripts. You should look at the hero's journey wizard. You should look at the origin story script. You should, I could see where the Epiphany Bridge story also, especially with like an Airbnb or something, about why, I've always wondered, why would somebody want to offer their own home up as an Airbnb? Why would you want strangers staying in your home? I know there's a rental motive. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be your own home, but it could be a rental. Some people do offer a room in their own home. That is an option, but
I know. And it's creepy.
Yeah. The ones I've stayed in, no one lives there. It's just a Airbnb.
Right. But some people live there part of the year and then they rent it out the rest of the time to make all the money to pay for it the rest of the time. I know there's people that'll go live in a trailer or something for 3 months to let people live in their house in an Airbnb so that they can make the money to pay all the mortgage payment for the whole year. I mean, there's all kinds of different things that people do, but over in Europe, especially and stuff, they will like a room in the house, like letting a stranger come in and stay in a bedroom in the house and like hang out with you, and you feed them breakfast in the morning and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not into that.
they make movies about that, and they usually have
Horror
warnings about
movies.
graphic violence. Yeah,
Some dude with an axe.
yeah, exactly. Hey, I'm what you got there? Oh, I'm a lumberjack. Oh, well, come on in. You know, I'm. Oh, who are you? Oh, I harvest sugar cane. Oh, nice machete, sir. You know, yeah, that just it doesn't do it for me. But there's a lot of people that make a lot of money with that. So there you go. Well, I don't know if have we beaten this to death. Is there anything else we need to talk about this one?
I think we've hit it.
Well,
we've digressed. We've beaten it to death, and yeah, it's about over.
Did we want to mention anything about like Uber Eats or Grubhub or anything like that?
I think they're all in the same thing, same category. I mean, if you can set it up on a social media platform where people know that's what you do,
right,
you know, in your particular area, and why they should pick you. I mean, it's all about timing once again, and you know, when you work, you know, those type of things, you know, because sometimes, you know, you're not a 24/7 Uber driver.
Right.
You know, you have a system usually that works, and you know, timing is everything for getting Uber drivers too.
Well, you know, interestingly enough, and I think I've shared this with you before, the Mexican restaurant that we have in town that we love, they have really thrived throughout COVID. And one of the things that they do is they publish their specials every day on their Facebook, and they do it, you know, people are waiting to see, okay, what's the special? You know, is it going to be I mean, I always get like the same three things, so I don't even care what the specials are. They get the chori pollo, the spinach quesadilla, or the mixed fajitas. That's my thing. So, but they built up the following, and they even will take orders through Facebook, through Facebook Messenger. So they really embraced it, and they have the right timing. They do it the right way, and so they thrived where other people were just biting the big one. So I think that's one of the biggest things is just is using it, being conscious of it, being conscious of the timing, like you say. I mean, doing your post about your specials at the Mexican restaurant at 6 a.m. because that's when you're on social media ain't the time to do it. The time to do it is at 11 o'clock and 4 o'clock, and then again at 6 o'clock. And that's how you're going to get the people to, and free delivery. So that's what you need to do.
Yeah. And I would say this too, you know, it doesn't have to be social media. It can be old school stuff too. Like when you pick up somebody, give them a card, right? Give them something that, here's my number. Anytime you need something, just let me know. You know, it'd be just common sense type of marketing too, as well.
I mean, that's when, I don't know if somebody like Uber or I don't know if they can do that. I think it's I don't know if you can request a driver or not, but I know in Aruba where they don't allow Uber and Lyft are not allowed because they know that it will come in and destroy the taxi industry.
Sure.
And that's a big part of their industry, and that's how they keep people fed and keep people employed and stuff. But that's exactly what's happened to me several times. You meet a taxi driver and they're really cool. And I had a taxi driver lend me fishing poles for a week because he was just so friendly, and we said we wanted to go fishing. He said, "I'll lend you." You said we were going to go buy poles. He said, "No, I'll lend you a couple poles." And so he lent us poles, and I ended up tipping him $100 for the week, and had him take us back to the airport. So had another guy that took us around and did a private tour. Had another guy that his buddy owned a barbershop, and I needed to get a haircut and some other stuff. He came, picked me up, took me to the barbershop, waited for me, sat inside, introduced me to all the guys, in the barber shop. We were all sitting around, laughing and joking, got my hair cut. And then we went and had lunch and he took me back to the hotel. I mean, so I see what you're saying. I don't know if an Uber driver could do it, but in another situation, absolutely that kind of thing of just doing it. So cool. But always remember hook story offer, no matter what you're doing. And if you can time your hook story offer with when people have money or have a need, you're going to do even better. Because you can have the best hook story offer in the world, but if you throw that message in front of the wrong person or the right person at the wrong time, your results are going to suck. And then you're going to be upset, and then you're going to throw in the towel, and then you're going to go make all your money putting on a hairnet and saying those famous words, would you like fries with that? So don't do that. Come on. All right, everybody. Well, I'm Jim Edwards, and for Stu Smith, thanks for joining us on the Sales, Copywriting, and Content Marketing Hacks podcast. Stu, if they want to get in shape, where should they go?
Stu Smith Fitness, thank you. And if you want to learn about copywriting secrets, where do you go?
You can go to copywritingsecrets.com. I still have some free copies left. I'll ship you a free copy of the physical book. All I ask is you pay a small shipping and handling to show me that you're serious. Everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.